case you haven't heard, RINOs in the Texas State House just gave Democrats more power. Let's check it out. We'll see what actually happened, and then we'll see some bright spots in this.
Yesterday, just hours after controversial rules for the Texas House were released, the chamber rushed through a vote to approve them without allowing debate or amendments, escalating tensions between reform-minded Republicans and House leadership under Speaker Dustin Burrows. Now, as we reported yesterday, and we followed this saga, you could follow it at texasscorecard.com, essentially these proposed rules that were sent to members at 4:30 a.m. maintained and actually expanded a power-sharing agreement between Republicans and Democrats in the chamber. It gives Democrats vice chairs significant authority in introducing pathways for Democrat control of new standing subcommittees. And so while Republicans would only be eligible to serve as chairs, all vice chairs would be required to be Democrats. And then they expanded the power of what a vice chair is. The rushed release and subsequent vote has raised concerns about transparency and Speaker Burrows' willing.
See, why would they do this? Why would we have a majority in the state house, 88 to 62, and we have a majority in the Senate, and we have the governorship. We should be able to pass every piece of conservative legislation that comes through. It should pass 100% of the time. Now, what does a committee chair do in politics, in case some of us are not familiar with that? It's a committee chair role in politics. In politics, a committee chair plays a crucial role in overseeing the activities of a specific committee within a political organization. They are responsible for ensuring that the committee functions effectively and achieves its goals. Here are some key responsibilities of a committee chair on politics: overseeing meetings, leadership and facilitation, decision-making, communication, and document management. Let's keep going here.
Willingness to prioritize the Republican agenda. Now, during the debate, or lack thereof, yesterday, Representative Todd Hunter attempted to shield Speaker Burrows from criticism. He said that no member, including Burrows, received the rules early. He urged members to direct their frustrations at him instead. Representative Tony Tinderholt proposed postponing consideration of the rules, at least for a day, to allow members to review and amend the 250-page document. However, Speaker Burrows refused to entertain the motion. And before amendments could even be offered, efforts were cut off when Representative Jared Patterson invoked the motion for previous question. That's commonly called the nuclear option. Now, this rare procedural move immediately ends all debate and forces a vote. This motion passed 107 to 35, effectively shutting down any opportunity to discuss or amend the rules. The final vote on the rules was 116 to 23. Now, for reform-minded Republicans, it's being viewed as
107 to 35. So 35 Republicans stood against this nonsense. That's something to be proud of. These 35 at least should be very proud of themselves for trying to stop this nonsense from happening.
It's a declaration of war. Many had hoped to use the amendment process to strengthen Republican control and address the concerns of their constituents who've long opposed these bipartisan power-sharing arrangements. And instead, those opportunities were steamrolled by leadership's tactics. And what more? Now some of those establishment members are sending out texts, maybe you've gotten some of them, claiming that they've banned Democrat committee chairs, when in fact they've actually given them more power than they've ever had before. Now, with these rules now approved, the chamber adjourned, and they'll be gone until Monday at 4 p.m. They're enjoying a long weekend.
Yeah, don't buy into the nonsense that, oh, we banned Democrat chairs, only Republican chairs now. Well, then you just had a power sharing agreement with Democrats, so for them to only be vice chairs and expand their powers. This is a statement from a rep here in the state of Texas House Rep Carissa Richardson. She wants to comment. She commented on this madness here. I voted against the House rules today because they are a radical departure from the traditions of the Texas House. These new rules are specifically designed to empower Democrats to obstruct conservative legislation, hindering our efforts to protect and advance the values Texans hold dear. These new rules dictate that committee vice chairs must be Democrats, granting them unprecedented authority to delay, amend, and even block vital conservative reforms. This framework allows them to further their radical agenda rather than uphold the will of the majority. I mean, the majority of Texans who voted spoke to pass conservative legislation here in Texas to uphold our values on the conservative side, and it's going to be very tough. These rules are deliberately designed to create conflict among our grassroots members by muddying the waters regarding who is truly standing for their values. Texans deserve clarity on who is committed to advancing conservative priorities and who is enabling Democrat obstruction. These rules also allow Democrats to call their own witnesses during legislative session hearings, prioritizing perspectives that may not align with the majority of Texans. Demand DEI impact statements on proposed conservative bills, which could be used as tools to derail legislation. Confer with committee chairs to influence the makeup and direction of key committees. Despite efforts from my conservative colleagues and I to amend and debate these rules, House leadership chose to silence dissenting voices. This lack of transparency and willingness to allow honest debate undermines the democratic process and betrays the trust of our constituents. Yeah, there you have that. And this is from somebody on X uh, talking about this. Rhino Speaker Burrows allowed his allies to vote the so-called ban on Democrat chairs by increasing their power of vice chairs and banning Republicans from serving as vice chairs. He also gave Democrats chairmanships of committees. Finally, he used taxpayer dollars to pay off the Democrats by giving vice chairs $4,000 a month. They've never been paid in the state's history. So as you get text messages from your Republican House rep bragging about how they vote to ban Democrat chairs, remind them that they vote to give Democrats control of the legislative agenda. The one possible bright spot is the fact that there are 25 Republican House members who claim they will block all legislation. It takes 25 to block until this situation is rectified. So they're using our money to pay these people. This is a way how this is how rhinos and Democrats come together to control our state, to control what happens, to keep things from moving forward in our state. They know that the majority of Texans are conservative. They vote Republican. As seen in the last election, Donald Trump got 6.3 million votes. Greg Abbott won in a landslide in his election, winning by 11%. Texas is a red state. The voters are very conservative. But down in Austin, not so much. The Senate, I've said before, the Senate is fine. Dan Patrick is a very conservative guy, lieutenant governor, and he runs a tight ship in the Senate. They pass things, they get things done, but the House is another story. The House is very swampy, and we have to clean it up. But there are some good things. The good news is that there is a big spotlight on this. That is the one thing we can take. Well, there are a couple of things. First and foremost is that there's a spotlight. This is all over X. This is being talked about, across the board on the internet. There is a spotlight on the Texas House now. And another thing is that the Republican House caucus, for the first time ever, elected or chose to elect a speaker from the Republican caucus. He received the majority of the votes, 52 votes, and that's a majority of Republicans in the state house. 52 out of 88 voted for him. So there's a majority who did the right thing. And that was the first time ever. Before, it was just, okay, like Dade Phelan, the former Speaker of the House in the state of Texas, I have enough votes. There was no transparency on who voted for him, how many votes he had. So if he had, all he needs is 76 votes, and he can say, all right, I have 76 votes, and we don't know where they're coming from. How many are Democrats, how many are Republicans? But now we see how many voted, how many are voting for the speaker. We know now that a large amount of Republicans voted for the Rhino. We know that a majority of Democrats, he was that the speaker was elected by a majority of Democrats. And we now know that there are 52 Republicans, a majority, who did not want him. 52 out of 88 voted against this guy to become Speaker of the House. So there is progress there. We have a long way to go, but it starts by shedding light on this stuff. And yes, Texas is a pro-gun state, pro-life state, great economy, lots of businesses coming here. We're clamping down the border. Some things did get passed, but we're not there yet. We're not where we should be. The voters of Texas are very conservative, so we're not. We don't. That's not a problem here. We have to clean up the house, and we can do that by getting behind whatever district you live in, and there's somebody there that voted for this Rhino speaker. Get behind the candidate, the challenger. Get more involved. Donate. Knock on doors. Make phone calls. Make post things on social media. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family members who are conservative and who are Republicans, or maybe middle of the road, and they don't typically get involved in these kinds of things. They don't really know what's going on because there's a lot of backdoor deals that happen. And this is exactly what happened here in the Texas House. It's ridiculous. So I just wanted to shed more light on this, so you can have the information that you need. Um, we have a lot of work to do going forward, and we have to save the Texas House, because if you want Texas to be the beacon of hope for the country, to lead the way like Florida has been doing, Florida gets things done. If you want to see every piece of legislation passed that we voted for, we put these people in office to get done, then we have to do our part and do more than just vote every 2 years or whatever in the state of Texas for these people in the House and Senate. So yeah, with that being said, like and subscribe, and see you next time. Thank you. Take care.